Hi guys, Pawn Master here, and today I'm going to be doing another episode of my beginner collector series. This is episode 3, and today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of different Funko Pop stores. So let's get started. Alright guys, so the last episode we were talking about kind of different Funko Pop stores, and today I'm going to do a deep dive into the pros and cons of 3 of the main stores you can get Funko Pops at. Those are Hot Topic, GameStop, and Target. Because if I did every single store that I mentioned in the video, A, I probably couldn't do it because I haven't been to most of them a whole lot, so I don't really know too much about how they work and stuff. And B, it would just be a way too long of a video. So I'm just doing the big 3 that I would recommend you guys go to if you go out to look for Pops. These 3 stores usually are the best bet for you. So let's start with Hot Topic. And if you guys don't know, Hot Topic is kind of like a I don't really know how to describe it. I've heard it described as like a teenage clothing store, but basically they have a lot of kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like they have a lot of like t-shirts and different kind of apparel for different movie franchises and TV shows and stuff like that. And they also have a lot of pops. So yeah, that's what Hot Topic is. And let's start with some of the pros. And one big pro that I really like about Hot Topic is that all of the stores have their own individual Instagram accounts, which is really nice. So what they do on there is that they sometimes post about some new clothing items they get in, but a lot of times they post about new pops. So if you follow your local store at Instagram, you'll be able to find out a lot about, what new releases they have, what's coming out, when is it coming out, stuff like that. And like they always post, okay, we were dropping this pop today, limited quantities, open at 10 a.m. Or they might also post when they get a restock of something. So pretty cool. And also they have a high quantity of exclusives, as in Funko gives them a lot of different exclusives every month, which is really cool. And I like how they have a lot of the different ones from different franchises, which is really nice to have. And alright, another new thing is they always have new releases that are coming out, like as in more common pops that I talked about last episode. They always have them probably the earliest out of any of the big box retailers. So yeah, Funko just gives them a lot of the newer releases a lot earlier than some of the other stores. Like I remember, for example, I got most of the new Star Wars Wave from there at a Hot Topic. That was in, I think it was middle of January or something, and I didn't see them pop up in most other stores until mid to late February. So I got them a full month earlier than most of the other stores got them in. So that's a really cool thing that Hot Topic gets, or does. Next thing, okay, so this is kind of more of the pricing aspect. So a lot of the time, not all the time, but this deal is running a lot. They have a deal where you can get 3 for $27 on pops, so you get 3 regular 4-inch pops for $27, which is a really good deal. Because I would consider the average pop to be about $10, because that's kind of like the price I'm willing to pay. Not really much more than that for just a standard common pop. And for that, you get each one for $9. So it's a really good deal that they're often running. And again, they'll say that on their Instagram usually when it's going on. And then another kind of reward thing to do is that they have this thing called the Hot Cash program. And I wish I had my with me, but I don't. But basically what a Hot Cash is that if you spend $30 at their store, you get a coupon for $15 off a future purchase of $30 or more. And you can only redeem those during a certain period that's listed on the coupon. It's usually about 10 days. And what I like about that is they also include 2 weekends in that. So it gives a lot of people who can't pop hunt too much on the weekdays like me a chance to spend your money. And in order to do that, you have to actually spend $30 to use your coupon. So if you spend like $25, you can't use your $15 off coupon. You have to spend $30. And also, if you have 2 Hot Cash and you spend $35, you can only use 1. So you can't just pile them on. If you want to use 2 Hot Cash, you have to spend $60. So it's a little confusing at first, but once you start if you use it a couple times, you'll start to understand it a little more. And another thing is that the employees at Hot Topic are always really nice, and if you ever need help, if you need to get an item from the shelf or something, or if you're just asking them about, something Funko related, they're always really helpful and really nice. So huge shout out to everyone who works there, because I've had nothing but just great experiences at Hot Topic. And another thing related to exclusives, they also have the Disney Treasures box. And if you guys don't know, that was a box that was originally run by Funko. It was a subscription box that shipped to your door. But I think it was last February, they canceled them and they moved them to different retailers. And then, so the Disney Treasures box, which is always themed around Disney, got to Hot Topic. So that's a really cool exclusive that Hot Topic has. And they're releasing boxes every couple months or so. And last thing, that for the Pro. So this is a really important thing. So Hot Topic has a really good uniform policy relating to pops. For example, you can only get one chase variant per customer, which is really good. Every store has that value and then or policy. And then for when it's Comic-Con time, that each person can only get 5. So it's a really good thing that they have that. Anyway, so now on to the cons. I feel like so for the first thing I want to mention is that Hot Topic has due to their kind of fairly generous reward system I mentioned. Oh, I forgot one thing about the rewards. So also they have one more thing where if you spend $100, you get a $5 off coupon. So that's another really cool thing. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Because of their kind of more generous rewards, they everything in the store is kind of priced a little bit more. For example, pops are actually $12.50, which is really expensive for me. So usually I'm not buying too much common pops from Hot Topic when it's not 3 for $27. So yeah, in a regular time they're $12.50, which is pretty expensive, like on the higher end of an individual pop. And I also don't like how for some of the exclusives it's priced a little bit higher. So I don't. That's another thing that they do that I don't like. And also things like mystery minis are also $8, which is a bit more than I'm willing to pay, honestly. And also another con is that there's a lot of in-store traffic. So what that means is that since Hot Topic gets a lot of exclusives and just high quantities of everything, there's a lot of people going in there to buy them. And that means that there might be less for you because a lot of people kind of go there for Funko only. So there's a lot of high traffic people are buying stuff, and that means, even though they have a high quantity, that could mean just less for you. And yeah, less chance of getting hot releases. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Hot Topic. So let's go over to GameStop now. So GameStop. So if you guys don't know what GameStop is, they're a video game store that kind of specializes in that. They sell video games, video game accessories, consoles, you name it, and they have like a trade-in thing where you can trade in your old games and get in-store credit, and they also have pops, obviously. So anyway, pros. Okay, so GameStop, like Hot Topic, also has a lot of different exclusives. Unfortunately, a lot of them are kind of focused on games, which is kind of obvious, but another thing that they do is that they also have, every Black Friday, they have a GameStop exclusive Black Friday box. And they have a bunch of cool stuff in there, and there's always a chance for chase pops, and then there's, like mystery minis and pop pens and a bunch of random cool stuff. Yeah, that's a really cool thing to do every year that Funko gives only to GameStop to do. And also, another thing about GameStop is if you see something that just announced by Funko, GameStop will have it in this little catalog that's near the front desk. And you can actually put down like a $5 deposit towards buying a pop so you can pre-order it. And that's really cool, especially if you can't afford to pay for an entire pop price just straight up right then. You can still pre-order the pop when you pay a handful of the price, and then you pay the other like $6 or whatever it is when you actually buy the pop when they get it in store. And also they have a pretty big high quantity pop section, which is really good. I like how they do that. Let's see. Yeah, and then also for the rewards program, they have this Power Up Rewards program where you can sign up. It actually doesn't cost anything, and then it's kind of like a regular rewards program. You spend X amount of money, you get some reward. Anyway, and also, and for their deals, they have a buy 3 get 1 free on pops. So that's the thing that they're running pretty often, but unfortunately it doesn't really apply too much to me because oftentimes when I go to GameStop, it's really hard for me to find even 3 pops to get, so it's not really good for me, but it's good for some people. And also another thing they do every now and again is that they do this thing where it's like not like this kind of bag deal. What you do is you buy a bag from them for about $5 or so, and everything you can put in the bag you get for, I think it's 25% off. And that's really good if you want to get a lot of different pops from there because you can get them at a pretty steep discount. Really cool. And now for some cons. I like Hot Topic, the price is also pretty high, as in the pops are $11.99 each, which is almost $2 over the kind of price I would pay for a pop usually. And the mystery minis are $7, which is still pretty expensive. And another huge issue for me is that most of their exclusives and even commons are taken up by pre-orders. So if you don't pre-order the pop, you barely have a chance to get it, because a lot of them, yeah, pretty much all their stock, they only order as much for each store as the pre-orders usually. There's not many left over to go on the actual shelf. So if you don't pre-order a pop from there, you have a pretty low chance of getting it, which kind of sucks. Anyway, they're also kind of spotty on new releases, as in they don't get the commons in until kind of later on, a lot later than stores like Hot Topic. Although for the recent Endgame release, they did have them out pretty early, so I'll give them credit for that. And also, I've kind of noticed they have a lack of kind of a uniform policy on pops, as in, how many of exclusives you can have, how many chase you can have. Anyway, yeah, that's it for GameStop. And then the last store we're going to talk about today is Target. So Target is kind of like a Walmart, if you guys can think of that. They have a bunch of different stuff. They have clothes, food, shoes, things like that. It's kind of like a, if you can think of it, they have it, that kind of store. There's kind of these huge stores that have everything in it. They also have pops. Anyway, and so Target with the pros, the first thing I'll start with is that they're cheap. So Target pops are $8.99 each, which is a really good price for me, because it's a full dollar below what I would what I want to pay for a pop. So it's really good if you want to buy some commons to finish off your set. You can just go there and you can get them for a really good price. And yeah, it's kind of the lower end, as I mentioned. And they also have a variety of exclusives from different genres. Like, for example, for Target Con, they had a Harry Potter exclusive, a Star Wars exclusive, Marvel, DC. And it's really good for people like me who you can kind of find just, like, in terms of Target exclusives, there's something for everyone there, which is really nice. And also, like Hot Topic, they also got one of the Funko subscription boxes, and they got the DC box. And so far, they released 3 boxes. They released Batman 1966, Aquaman, and DC Bombshells. So that's really cool. And they usually have a lot of high quantities of those, and you can probably find most of them at most stores. Let's see. Yeah, also I already kind of mentioned this, but they have a lot of different commons, and yeah, they're kind of good to finish your set. And for discounts, since the price is kind of lower, they don't have too much of the way of discounts. The only thing I really know of is the red card discount, which you get. Target Red Card is kind of like their official, I think it's a credit card if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's a credit card you can get from Target, and you get 5% off your purchases at any purchase you make at Target, which is really neat, and that still applies to pops. And what's really cool about the Red Card is that but I think it's only online, they actually have Target Red Card exclusives. So you can only buy those Target exclusive pops if you have a Red Card. And that's a really cool thing that they do promote you to get the Red Card. And some examples are the Red Stormtrooper and the Red Dilophosaurus, I think, from Jurassic Park. Don't quote me on that. All right, cons. Okay, so for Target Target Con. Okay, sorry. Okay, Target cons. So a lot of the times at Target, the boxes are really damaged. As in, they rarely have stuff that's really mint condition. It just kind of gets crushed either in the back storage room or just by someone else dropping it or whatever. But yeah, the boxes are usually in pretty bad condition, unlike either GameStop or Hot Topic. And also, this is a huge issue for me about Target, is that their exclusives are usually never out on time. So what I mean by that is that sometimes they'll release them early or late, and like most of them do have a street date, but a lot of the times they don't adhere to that, or if they don't have a street date, you have no idea when they're going to drop. And that's just super annoying for me, because I can't just be going to Target every single day just looking for this one thing. I kind of want to know when it's coming out. And also, a huge issue is that when you ask an employee, hey, do you have this pop, for example, they either have no idea what you're talking about, even if they're in the electronics section, which has jurisdiction over pops. They either have no idea what you're talking about, or if you give them a DCPI number for a pop, they can't find it for you, which sucks, because they get a lot of exclusives in that are just sitting in the back storage room, and then no one has no idea where they are, and also, yeah, they can't find them for you, which sucks, so no one can buy them. And there's also a lack of quantity when they do have the exclusives. Oftentimes for a 4-inch pop, for example, they only have a case of 6, and that's it for the entire store. So if there's like a hot thing you want on one day and you go in, if you're not the first, 6 people in line, you're kind of screwed, which sucks. And I feel like they wish they had, maybe like 12 or 18. I feel like that would have been a better quantity versus only 6 per store. And also a big issue. I think like all these cons are kind of big issues with Target, as why I don't go there too much. They have a lack of uniform policy when it comes to pops. For example, for example at Target Con, I heard a lot of people can only get 2 pops total, like not like 2 of each item, just 2 total. And there's a lot of stores where you could just get anything you wanted, like how many you wanted, all that. And then there's other stores where they had it behind the guest service counter. So it's just super confusing, and I wish they can find a uniform policy as what to do with these high demand releases. Basically, I don't like how each store does it in the way. You need to kind of have one thing to do for every store to make sure everyone's kind of has an equal chance of getting the release no matter what store they go to. And also, I don't like how some relating to this, not like for a huge thing. Some stores have a policy where you can't even ask about the item. Like if you can't ask a person to find an item for you, which again is really bad, because if there's a pop you want, you go on like something like BrickSeek, which can tell you if Target has the item in stock. It says it has been in stock. You go to the store, you ask, okay, can you get this for me? And the guy says, no, we can't. So the pops that you want could literally be sitting somewhere in the back room for months and months and months, and then no one can buy them, which is a really idiotic policy, and only some stores have it, which again is a kind of a big issue for me. But yeah, that's kind of it for what I have here. And yeah, anyways, guys, this has been another episode of Popmaster. Me doing kind of an in-depth guide on the pros and cons of shopping at 3 different stores that have Funko Pops. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.